everything we do as a composer always related to tradition and invention. So to me, there's no boundaries. For example, the way how to preserve tradition become very, very inventive. Actually, the way how to invent become very, very traditional. So this too, I also find if you have more knowledge and the more interested towards tradition, wide interested specifically, your invention part is going to be much more active, much, much more. So tradition also is being expanded by the invention. So this is one piece of a cake. It's not two pieces of dessert, you know. So I always treat this two as a one, which is 1 + 1 = 1. Sometimes I want to do outrageous things, you know, ceramic music, paper music. Only me can do that. But also sometimes I want to do the common stuff. I always thought that way. Composer is a sound design artist. I didn't really want to be avant-garde or popular at all. I just I tried to do my work, and I didn't want to smash the Eastern tradition. I don't want to make something big noise in the Western music field. But what happened is happening, and I don't care actually. It's not really influenced my way as a sound design artist, and also never changed the way I looked world or I looked myself. I want to create a instrumental writing to enlarge, expanding the orchestral tradition. But meanwhile, I didn't have that kind of a sort of ambitious ambition to let everybody to follow me or to challenge the Schoenberg or to challenge Philip Glass or John Adams or whatever. What I want to challenge is myself. I totally believe if I challenged myself enough, and that will challenge the whole world. For example, if you give me the rice, I'm not going to cook you risotto because I don't know how to cook it, but I use the rice to cook rice bowl, to cook rice porridge, rice soup. Then I still make a masterpiece, but I still make a rice usage amazing. Same thing, when I use the violin, I don't want to look up how Schoenberg used violin, how Respighi used violin, how Mahler used violin. And I used the violin, I said, oh, I know there's pipa way, I know there's koto way, I know there's a shamanistic way. Why don't we use this way to play violin? Why don't we? Then you see, after all those things, the orchestra theater series made orchestra sounding towards something quite different. So when I was working on the Chinese idea, I never really thought this is Chinese. I thought that this is a word of a human. And this word, it's so valuable. And if you really understand it, if you really could hold of this word of yourself, they will be recognized as the word of human being. And that's very, very a valuable thing of today's culture actually. You always can self-recognize your word as a existence value. And that becomes very, very important for anybody in this world to see yourself as the most important value. And that's the history of art, because by the end, the history of art only collect those people who treat your own word as the word of the whole. So that's why I always try to tell the young composers, all different regions composers, I said, never have a distinction between your own word and the art word. And never trying to not so confident about your own experience as your own, no matter you are Mexican, no matter you're African or Chinese or Japanese, no matter. The value is because of your word. Then achievement is, can you discover your word as the word of the whole? That's going to be so interesting. So people sometimes, I don't know how they think of that way, but negatively or positively, they always talk to me, oh, you always think about Chinese, Chinese, Chinese. I said, actually, I always think about the way, look at Chinese, but not really as the word of Chinese, but as a word of world. That's why I getting more and more Chinese, and I get more and more recognized internationally. I think it's wonderful. And sometimes also, when you get more and more honestly, you might get a little criticized by those contemporary music nerdy academics, but meanwhile you are so satisfying for your life, and you are so satisfying with the way how efficiently could touch those regular people, and those regular people can make your music much deeper, much more conceptual, and much more interesting.
Go!